Hi everyone, alongside Mike Trossel, I'm Dave Giancola. Thanks for joining us again for another US Open Classic finish. And Mike, for the first time in more than 3 decades, the US Open returned to Marion Golf Club in Ardmore, Pennsylvania in 2013.
Now, Dave, 5-time runner-up Phil Mickelson attended his daughter's 8th grade graduation across the country in California on Tuesday of US Open week, but came out firing with an opening 67. Mickelson retained the lead on Sunday until 2 early missteps. Double bogeys on 3 and 5 dropped him behind Justin Rose, Jason Day, and Hunter Mahan.
Let's pick up Mickelson as he starts the back 9 in his quest for the career Grand Slam.
+7 for the championship. Mickelson at 10.
Playing very quickly, Roger.
76 yards. Left to right on very, very coarse. That's nice.
Birthday present. Well, John, you were talking about the fact that nothing's gone right and nothing's gone in. How about that shot? And just the right time.
Well, if he's going to win a U.S. Open, he might as well do it in typical Mickelson-like fashion.
That's something else.
He's got 2 doubles on his card and now an eagle.
And when you put a wedge in his hand, as we said earlier, it's magic. And he's got 5 of them in the bag this week, so he can choose from quite a few of them. Let's take another look from above. I was actually thinking that he was going to have to play a little right of this flag, but he went right at it. Look at that. Watch this reaction. He knows it's good.
It's the kind of shot, Jake, that would make you believe that fate is on his side finally.
He talked about having fun today. He hasn't had any fun to this point, but
now he's back to business.
Yeah, you can bet. That puts a charge up your body like nothing else, Johnny. In the lead at the U.S. Open, up at 13 for birdie is Fowler. And Fowler gets it to +4. And he's got that difficult final 5 to go to see if he can keep in the mix as well. Back to 10.
Roger, let's see how Hunter responds.
A little fat.
Yeah, he hit the same shot yesterday, although he made the putt, trying to just throw it backwards and spin. He caught it just a little chunky.
You're at 13. Billy Horschel has already missed the green in the bunker, so Jason Day taking aim with a gap wedge.
Just swinging from his heels on that wedge. He had to hear that. I mean, you could hear that probably a mile away. Phil Mickelson hole out. Not the worst shot in the world for Day.
One more look at the hole out at the 10th.
Watch how hard he swings.
And that was an aggressive line. And rightly so.
I think that's that 64-degree wedge he put in the bag.
Yeah, it's got to be.
How many guys could play that shot from there?
Well, he said earlier in the week, and he said it last night, he's hitting the ball as well as he's ever hit it in his career.
And they just posted the score.
People are thinking, wait a minute, number 10, he made a 2? You got to know that his heart is pumping right now.
Oh, it's a different game right now. He is energized now. Totally different vibe.
Now, Hunter for birdie. Roger, I just, you wonder the give and take of match play and medal play, how it affects your playing competitors. I wonder what this is going to do to Hunter.
It's almost as much of a shock to your playing competitors as it is to you when you watch something like that happen and listen to the crowd react.
over to 13.
And this for birdie to tie Mickelson at even.
Not only did he hear that roar from Mickelson's eagle, but it absolutely stopped him in his tracks. He had to back off the tee shot. Right hand break in this one.
Justin Day.
It wiggled left on him. It was in, and it just wiggled for no reason left.
Thought he had that.
He's like thinking it's in.
Remember, he was on the precipice of a disaster at 11 before he chipped in for that bogey. He'll stay at +1 over to 12. Second for Rose.
Good chance for birdie here with those sideboards. Just got to get it up to the hole. It's going to be close. Real close.
Yep. It's going to be a tackle for Justin Rose. What? Last 15 minutes we've seen at this U.S. Open. As they battle Mary to the top stretch, they're now at the stretch where you can fight back, and boy, has Phil Mickelson done that. Little reminiscent of when he won his first major at the Masters in 2004. Not a very big vertical jump, but he is excited. Back at the U.S. Open, home of the wicker baskets, where the energy has been cranked up here. Phil Mickelson leads the U.S. Open. A record 5 times a runner-up. But at 12 to tie him is Rose. And now it's Mickelson and Rose atop the board at even. And Justin will have another good chance, you would think, across the road at the 13th, which has been giving up birdies all week. Back to 11.
Mickelson on the tee. To find the fairway. Nice and stay left. And okay. Just about 2 yards inside the rough.
Well, Phil Mickelson, before that pull out for eagle at the 10th. He tried the first. He had been living around the edges. That barely misses. Another birdie attempt at the second. So 2 edges there in the first 2 holes. This is a bogey attempt at the 5th, just off the left side. Birdie try at the 6th. Just off. And then this was a birdie try at the 9th, which also got an edge. So sometimes when you have so many close calls, Marion decides it's going to get one back. But this was just another example of what we've seen through the years. An incredible touch from the left by Mickelson. Hole out, eagle 2 at the 10th. Mickelson is at even par and on the back 9 in a U.S. Open tied with Justin Rose. After so much heartbreak in this championship, Johnny, he is right there again on his 43rd birthday on Father's Day.
Well, as you always say, what will Phil do now? You know, I mean, it's really, really exciting for him. 5 runner-up finishes in the Open, and for him to get one on his birthday at this stage in his career would be amazing. Of course, Justin Rose probably needs a major a lot more than Phil does. Never won one, and he's an awfully good-looking player. So there's some guys. Hunter Mahan, another guy, needs a major championship along with Jason Day. So. You know, this means a lot to these guys, change their life. And I'm probably going to change Phil's life, except for feel a little better about himself maybe in his record. But this is really going to be fun the next bit.
And they're over at the 11th.
And Mahan ready to play his second shot.
124, the lie is good. Playing slightly downwind.
The firmest green on the golf course, according to Matt Schaefer. When Cobbs Creek overflows, it puts silt up onto the green, and that has built up through the years. So it is a firm green.
There's 2 a good lie, 112. So left to the hole and deep.
And Justin Rose, Nota, you're right there.
Right here, he's got his 52-degree wedge. Sets up really nice. Has to land it just past the flag and use that backboard.
King in the north!
And he's come over this and pulled it right to the middle of the green.
Seemed to be bothered by someone in the gallery there. Yeah, irritated. But tied for the lead in the U.S. Open. Mahan, Day, one back.
We're back at 11. Mahan up for birdie 3. It's a speedy one, should move left. Well judged for speed, yeah. He says, wow, hard to believe it's that fast. So we go to 14.
All right, the real meat of the course again. Jason Day in the rough at the par 4 14th.
Hit it way right, so far right. He was right of the fescue. I can't imagine him even thinking about getting on from there. Leaves himself a decent little pitch shot, maybe a saving up and in.
There's some Phil fans. Happy birthday, and the rain is coming down here at the 11th.
It's a putt here to take the outright lead, get back to 1 under par.
I don't see much in it, but I think it's got to go a little to the right.
Very quick. You can see Phil racing over there to watch the line.
Sometimes it's hard to settle down after you're holing out, Gary.
Not just a sign over there, Gary. They got a cake. all they need is 43 candles.
One of the many houses that surround Marion. And this was the hole that Justin Rose just earlier raced it well by the hole, although not as far by as farther by than this, and managed to miss it. Coming back up the hill.
Oh, short, yeah.
Okay. This remains at even par. He is tied for the lead. And we go to 13.
And Rose's birdie attempt. Justin Rose.
Great read and a real bold stroke.
And this kind of has the feel of the Ryder Cup 9 months ago at Medina. Remember, Justin Rose and Phil Mickelson locked in a crucial match on Sunday singles. Mickelson was rolled up as they came to the 16th, applauding Justin Rose's par save there at 16. This was the bolt of lightning that really shook Medina that day. A tense Ryder Cup Sunday. Rose knocked it in for birdie to square the match with Mickelson, who is still one of his biggest fans. And then with the cup in the balance at the 18th, Justin Rose ended up winning the last 2 holes and beat Mickelson 1-up as Europe came storming back, reaching the biggest final-round comeback in Ryder Cup history. And Justin Rose was a huge part of that, and maybe he's feeling a little home here in English type of weather that is back here at Marion. Solid rain coming down now as Justin heads to that tough part of the course, and up ahead of him is Dave with his 3rd of this par 4.
Yeah, hard little pitch, really. Just landed just on. Landed a little shorter than he should have. An uphill putt. Should be able to make that with a good stroke.
Day 2 back will have that par putt to try to stay there.
The bad news for Justin Rose, folks, if you're a Phil Mickelson fan, Justin Rose has played 14 through 18 plus 6, and Mickelson's played him -1. That's.
And there's a look from above at 14, Johnny. That out of bounds, tight there on the left, Golf House Road.
hasn't made one birdie the whole tournament from championship from 14 to 18. This is one of the hardest tee shots on the golf course. The next 2 holes, the tee shot is brutally tough. Next hole's even tighter with the OB 15, but this one, you got fescue left, fescue right, heavy rough just off the fairway left, and a big bunker on the right side. So almost this whole hole is the tee shot.
452 yards. Alongside that putting green by the clubhouse.
And back into the wind, it makes it even tougher.
Well, Hicks a good swing on this one. This is right down the middle.
That is really important right there.
Up ahead on the green, Day to remain at +1. Mark.
Not a whole lot of break to this one, but needs to hit it firm up the hill. You have to wonder with the rain, which is coming pretty much straight down because there's not much wind at all right now. The greens will slow up just a little bit.
There's the board right behind Day. Just about like that. Third bogey drops him to +2, 3 back. But again, you got to keep your wits about you because the guys behind him all have to come through this tough stretch. It's been called the most difficult 5-hole finish in a U.S. Open, maybe in major championship history. It is tough. Justin Rose leads with his latest birdie. Here's what Johnny was alluding to earlier in this tough stretch of the golf course where Justin Rose has played 14 through 18 +6. Mickelson, the best of the top 4 on the leaderboard right now. Phil getting ready to get there. He's out at the 12th.
And 149 left up the hill, and we are feeling some wind here. Trees are moving and starting to pick up as the rain begins to become steady.
Left to right wind.
Well, the good news for you Phil fans out there, he's got 2 good birdie chances now on 12 and 13.
He's keeping floating up around, trying to shape it in left to right. Left to the hole.
Checks up off the car, goes back down toward the hole. Just didn't get it close enough over there to really drift down there close like we've seen in previous groups.
And he pushed it just a little bit.
There's the wicker basket at 14. And the wind, as this front goes through here, is starting to be a factor along with the rain.
He's going to play long uphill into the wind.
And while he looks that over, we head back to 12 for Hunter Mahan, who is just 2 back in solo 3rd.
And Hunter has 144. Now with that wind coming from the left, that's really kind of a friendly wind for this shot, Johnny.
Yeah, it is. It will come down and drop right and then spin right down the hill if he hits it correctly. He's got to land it hole high though, or just barely short of hole high. Maybe 15 feet left of the hole.
Pretty good USGA resume, excuse me, Roger, for Mahan, runner-up at the U.S. Amateur back in 2002. He won the Junior Amateur in '99, looking for the big one here today at 14. Rose now getting ready.
See those flags way up at the grandstands noted, I guess, left to right and into.
Yes, it's definitely coming in, and the rain is starting to come down a little bit heavier. He's got 207 with the uphill and the wind, Johnny, plus the rain. It's probably playing right around 225 yards. Can only see the very top of that wicker.
Maybe get it to the green to flush it. Was he late?
Yep, he was late to the party, and it's way right.
Yeah, you could see it coming down. He was late, but that sand is really nice when it gets a little wet. You can really spin it. So, not impossible. Yeah, when he comes down, he makes the 1-2 move and then doesn't square it up in time. It's just wide open when he hits it. Now he squares it up. Yeah. So could be a little bit of nerves. I'm sure after he made that putt, he got a shot of adrenaline.
Back to 12. This was Hunter's second from 144.
Might be good. He seems to like it.
The edge for Mahan. And up to the 15th, Jake.
And you can see how much rain is coming down. That's Colin Swatton, Jason Day's caddy. They're huddled under that umbrella, Mark.
But at first it was just a nuisance, Peter, but it's quite a bit more than that right now.
Let's take a look at the Weather Channel radar going through the Philadelphia area right now. We're right about there where Johnny is circled. So right kind of in the middle of it right now.
On this 15th hole today, Dan, this dogleg right, par 4 uphill, we've already seen quite a few over par holes or over par scores. 17 bogeys, 4 doubles. We've seen a quadruple bogey 8 from Marcel Siem, and Paul Casey, Jason Dufner with triple, but Jason Day's done the best he could right here. He hit in the fairway. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, job one is done, Peter. So he's got 175 to the hole now. A little bit of a hanging lie, ball below his feet, but it's uphill with the wind, with the rain. I would think it's playing closer to 190.
It's raining hard, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got to play this left of the hole. That is
He's over there.
A location you just cannot go at.
He's gone from the U.S. Open to the British Open.
That's an excellent shot.
I'll have it downhill, but
back to 12.
And Hunter Mahan taking a long look at this birdie up the hill, Roger.
This rainfall has become substantial and steady. It's going to have to have slowed up this putt. This is up a pretty steep slope here, and it's got to turn to his right.
Hard to make yourself hit it that hard uphill into the green, wet green. Not a bad leave, though. If you're going to leave it that far, that's the spot to be.
Phil the Bones taking a look at this.
Does the rain just let up a little, or is that my imagination?
Your imagination. Trust me on that one.
Well, Phil Mickelson, even despite the conditions now, has loved this course the moment he saw it. In fact, he told Mike Davis of the USGA that it is the best U.S. Open setup he's ever seen. Coming in here. And so now for birdie to tie Rose.
Downhill, going to the right.
So Mickelson will tap in, settle for par, remain even, one back. He's got a mark. Get over to Rose at 14 from the bunker.
He's got a very clean lie, and Justin over the past few years is actually one of the best bunker players on the PGA Tour. And as we were walking up to the green, he looked over at me and kind of smiled and was wondering, wow, if it wasn't hard enough, now we have to deal with the rain.
And it's kind of the toughest part of the golf course.
That might have been a little bit of a puzzle action there.
That squirted right, didn't it?
That was definitely a bit of a shank. He's looking at his club like, hey, why'd you do that? watch where his what swing path is. Watch his swing path is over to the left, and you see how the ball just starts 15, 20 feet right of the swing path. Well,
Rose is in danger of giving it back.
You see it all at the U.S. Open. Hole-in-ones, couple shanks.
We've seen everything today. We've seen
hole outs from the fairway by Mickelson.
Little left for par at 12 for Mahan. This was just earlier.
You're still the man.
Mahan drops it and safely remains at +1. At the moment, 2 back, but Rose has a lengthy par left at 14. As Mickelson has arrived across Ardmore to the little par 3 near the clubhouse.
He birdied this hole on Thursday, and then he one-hopped it over the green buried lie on Friday and made bogey, and then parred it yesterday from the left rough. So he hasn't.
What is the lightning forecast? Is there much in the area?
I'll let him talk there first.
Phil asking about the lightning in the forecast.
Yeah, Phil and Tiger like to study the weather. Like to know everything that's going on.
Okay, we got left to right and hurt, you think?
Well, at the moment we've got some hurt. We're just gonna have to, sit here and talk about what we think is playing.
Well, I don't mind.
Our ball's not going to get up there into that.
No, it's
22. I'd say.
Look at the wicker basket for any help. So he is looking at the American flag, which is top of the camera position that we have here above the 13th.
And that's a real true wind direction up there. It's not swirling.
I think it's playing 27, Phil.
Okay.
You know, with that shot being flighted down, I think that's how it's going to play.
It's definitely hurting.
Flag, please.
They said playing 27. That would be 6 more than the 121 yardage.
That's about right. It's a northwest wind.
Well, I think, again, this is a wind that helps this shot, don't you, John? Yeah, again, for more spin and wind coming from left to right as well.
Yes, it does, as long as he doesn't override it. That's what I was afraid of. He played the draw and rode the wind, and that is going to take a 64-degree genius to make it up and in.
And Rose over at 14 for par.
John, I gotta think that jacket was bothering him a little bit. He pulled it off. He's got an extremely fast putt.
Get in the hole!
Is he going to do it again? Oh, it's a very fine putt. But a bogey here is not going to knock you out of it.
It's back to even. And back to 13 for Hunter. Easiest par 3 in an Open since the last Open here
Quiet down,
in
please.
1981.
Be quiet back here. Thank you.
Hole played to an average of 2.83, 118 birdies given up. Rose did tap in for his bogey to drop back to even in a tie with Mickelson, who's got problems here.
I'm not sure Mickelson's shot didn't give him a lot of question marks. And that's a good shot. Gives himself an uphill putt.
It's not the kind of way you want to go into the feet of the course 14 through 18 and lose one at 13. We'll see.
Yeah, Phil can do magic there.
Up at 15.
Jason Day now for a rare birdie 3. This looks awfully good. Billy Horschel there trying to urge that putt in. Oh, he thought he had that. So should be a tap-in par. And boy, these last 4 holes are living up to the reputation, aren't they?
Yeah, last
5. USA chance. As Mickelson is tied atop the leaderboard with England's Justin Rose.
Well, the good news, it's lightened up just a bit outside, so hopefully we won't have any delays or anything. Won't be because of water, I don't think.
Roger, you had a chance to scout out the line.
Well, I got pretty close to it and couldn't see it, so it can't be too good. It's pretty heavy back there.
Advantage he's got is that 64 degree around Roger and his hands.
Well, yeah, he's going to have to throw this thing straight up in the air because it is going to come in on a downslope. So the only way he's going to be able to try to stop it is with trajectory. Now, there is a slope that comes into the drain from the front that's going to help contain the ball. So, I mean, I think he can get this ball within 8-10 feet without a whole lot of difficulty if he hits a decent shot. But getting it closer now, it's going to be very tough.
You got to be careful not to dump it short of the green and go under it or something. That's some fresh grass.
Put your phone away. Put your phone away.
Bad club selection.
Well, we know what happened at the 10th out of the rough, that this is a thicker lie.
It's going to come back. Somehow.
That's too bad that the way they factored the distance off the tee obviously was wrong.
To 15.
Remember, you've got Golf House Road very tight on the left there. You've already seen 4 balls out of bounds today left. Most notably, Jason Duffner came here just 3 over for the championship. And we were speculating about how if he could just post, and he whipped it out of bounds.
How do you like this iron? That's a good play?
I think it's a good play, yeah. The tee is back just a little bit today, which I think takes the driver completely out of your hands. You see those 3 fairway bunkers down the right. You just want to put this in the fat of the fairway. And the fairway is only about 25 yards wide, so it's a skinny fat.
They're going right again.
It's pretty good.
He likes this one.
Now that's laid way back.
As Phil gets ready for his par attempt, another look at this thick, now wet rough.
It just jumped, like Roger said. It didn't come out sort of like a sand shot. It came out like it was clean lie. This would be a really disappointing 4, Roger. If he doesn't make it.
Missed the screen with the wedge. That's certainly uncharacteristic for Phil.
Slow putt.
And Mickelson, one of the few to bogey 13. There's been a lot of birdies in this hole today. Mickelson will head to the top final 5 at +1.
That right there was, you're thinking birdie on that hole and you make 4. That's at least a 1.5 or 1-shot swing.
Even though, as we pointed out earlier, he's had pretty good success on the tough final 5. Not the way you want to go in there now. Mahan to try to get to even.
Very similar putt to that of Phil's.
For second. Crowd cheering Phil on as he has in sights his first U.S. Open championship. Now the really tough part. Four players packed in there within 2 shots of the lead, and all in the tough throes of the quarry area of the golf course, and Hunter Mahan with a good drive at 14.
That is clutch. And Phil's going to have to hit a good one here if this is the hole that's got all kinds of trouble off the tee. I don't think the out of bounds really in play, but the fescue left and right and the bunker on the right are definitely in play. And it's back uphill into the wind. The wind has sort of died right now, though. That's good news. Flag at 18. You can see the flag right here is not doing anything.
That flagpole, by the way, is the area where they used to hit drives on this old 14th back in the day. Roger?
Wind is pretty much dropped right now. It's non-stop. It's just barely a drizzle now. It's going down the left side. This is going to find the rough in the left, I believe.
Yep. That's heavy rough right there. That is not long. It's been mowed last night, but it is thick.
Up a hole to 15.
Justin Rose now preparing for his second shot. Nota.
Peter, I like this play. He took a 3-iron off the tee, a little bit far back. He's got 179 left, about playing a half a club uphill, but he's a very good long and mid-iron player, so he's playing right into his strengths. Should be looking about 15 feet left of this wicker.
Yep, right at the camera tower that you see behind the green.
Pretty good. That's exactly the line it's on right now.
It's going to trickle back a little bit, but that is a speedy putt, although with all this rain, it's going to slow the green down, make it fairly easy, and I think makeable. To 16.
Jason Day has hooked his tee shot wildly to the left over where the gallery is.
Attaboy!
Jason! Trying to hit a massive hook. Gotta be able to accomplish it.
He's going all over the course, Gary.
Yeah, this is the green way to the right. Over at 14.
This was just earlier, and what a comeback Steve Stricker has made since hitting it out of bounds at the par 5 second. He made a triple there. He's played +1 golf since. He's coming off a birdie at 13, and then this approach here at 14. So an incredible comeback. Remember, Stricker began the day just one off of Mickelson's lead, and again, this was the tee shot that began a really very uncharacteristic streak of play here for Stricker, Johnny.
Absolutely. It's an OB here and then shanks it out of bounds on the next one. 2 OBs on one hole. Let's take a look at his second shot. Well, it'd be his fourth shot, I mean. And just a flat shank. Just, you know, U.S. Open nerves, I guess. I don't know what else you would call it. And somehow he makes birdie with the next ball. Luckily, to make triple.
That approach, by the way, was the third for Stricker, so this is his par attempt to stay at +4 for the championship. +4 for the day, just touching it. It's going to be his first bogey since the 5th.
He needed that one. He cannot go for any chance more than 4 overs, asking for a lot.
And so the dream of finally breaking through for that first major in his 59th major start beginning to diminish for Stricker. Most PGA Tour wins without a major, 12, and it appears that that search will continue. At 17, this was Ricky Fowler with a 4-iron. Watch where this one goes. Oh no. Into the stands. Back at 14 for Mickelson in the rough. Roger.
Well, the ball has sat down in this left rough for Phil. He has 190 yards left to the hole. But it's the kind of lie, John, the green is kind of going toward the green. Even though it's sitting down a little bit deep, I still think he has the chance to get the ball to scoot and maybe chase this ball.
Well, it doesn't help that you got that fresh amount of rain on that grass, and this grass is, I don't know what they fertilize it with, but it might have something to do with, I don't even know. All I know is the rule is darn. I won't say what I was thinking, but it is tough.
A little room in front of the green, maybe to do a little scooter. And he's got a fairway medal out here, right?
Flat, please. Thanks.
And I believe of the shot he's going to try to play, as I said, is that low scooter, if he can catch it just right. But it's kind of scooting right.
You don't want to go from trouble to more trouble. That's one of the first things my dad taught me. You get in trouble, get out of trouble.
And he's down deep, it appears, again.
And that looks like it's dead into the green now. Watch this. He comes down, and like the last hole, the toe really shuts down. Look at the explosion of water. And it squirts to the right.
Now Mahan.
And he has 183. Perfectly positioned tee shot here.
Just one out of the lead. He's right in it for his first major title.
No. Stick left, something.
Could be in the face. That's in the bunker, but that's what happens. Guys get under pressure and they come down with the face course open halfway down, and instead of squaring it up, they just lock up and leave the face open.
Let's go up to the quarry hole, 16.
And Jason Day playing his third. And Dan, I can't help but think back to Congressional when he finished second. Remember how many times he got it up and down in those final holes?
One of the great scrambling performances we've ever seen, Gary.
Yeah, well, this is pretty darn good. So he's going to give himself a chance to save par.
He went 40+ holes down the stretch at Congressional without a bogey. And I guess when you talk about how some players are wired for U.S. Opens, Johnny, Jason Day is one of them. And we're going to see if Justin Rose has what it takes to try and finish this off.
And Justin's got a very makeable putt here at 15, Noda.
He has played this hole very, very well. Executed the last two shots almost perfectly from a strategical standpoint. And Peter, you referenced earlier that this is just a very, very fast putt with a lot of left to right break in it.
Yeah, similar putt on 13.
To 16.
Jason Day for his par to remain at +2. Great up and down recovery from the poor tee shot. A little shrug, and he knows he got away with one there. And of course, there's no crowd around at 16, as the gallery not allowed to get into that area.
A little sun on the occasion now over at the 14th, where Mickelson is dealing with more rough, Roger.
Yeah, and Johnny was right. The nasty little lie sitting in deep with the grain of the grass against him, hanging right over the front of the ball, John. So this is one of those kind of chop it and hopes.
Yeah, to get the right distance, you got to be awfully good and a little bit of luck. If you can chunk it short or jump it long like you did in the last hole. Goes into the green lights. It's amazing how consistently guys leave it 12 to 15 feet short when you're into the green.
You'll have that for par. We go to 15.
Justin Rose said earlier in the week, you've got to churn out par after par after par, and there's another one. So Justin Rose stays one clear.
He was reaching for that pretty early.
He took a quick step, didn't he? To 14.
Where Hunter Mahan ended up with a good break in the bunker, Roger.
He could lie here in the bunker. Some big damp that can really help you spin it, John.
Yes.
Spin, here it comes. Here it comes. Upside hill. Still not a good shot, but getting better.
It turned out a lot better than it probably should have, but he knew that bank was there. He wasn't trying to do that, but
that was not by design. It worked out. Again, a little luck, a little good fortune to put one of these away. And up at 17, Fowler. This is a par attempt. Remember, he went into the stands from the tee. For the most part. Fowler is going to lose one here to fall to +6. As he hit the tough final 5 here, he had a chance, but he just hasn't been able to handle it. And now Mickelson for par.
Are you right somewhere where you can get a good eye on this, Roger?
Yeah, I'm in front of the green on the right-hand side, Johnny, and I just don't see a whole lot of break in this putt. I think it may try to whittle just a little left.
Well, taking a lot of time. Maybe he's got it all charted. He knows this putt. Looks like he's playing it to fade.
Is to avoid back-to-back bogeys.
Get in the hole!
Mickelson buries a clutch par save.
That was big.
And Mickelson Nation here left on Marion.
That was a wonderful read. Played it about maybe a ball or 2 outside right and knocked it right in there.
If he were to win today, it would set the record for the most appearances before winning. Raymond Floyd didn't win until his 22nd start. This is Phil's 23rd U.S. Open Championship overall. And still looking for the victory. That was huge. And up at 17, this is big. What a final 2 holes here. Mark Rolfing is on the scene here. The huge grandstands in the background as Jason Day aims down the hill, 2 back with a 4-iron.
$229 yards downhill a little bit.
Toward the left-hand side of the green. Oh, just didn't carry it nearly far enough.
No!
And that's got a couple waves he's got to negotiate. It goes up one, then it goes sort of down, then up another one, and then down again. It's sort of a fun putt if you were just playing by yourself.
Basically 4 in it for the U.S. Open here. Rose, Mickelson, Mahan, and Day. Survives.
2 unlikely pars there, but that's clutch.
All pars. 13 pars, the 1 bogey at the 6th. Tee at 16.
Justin Rose, conservative with the iron. Line tee shot, played downhill. Can't see the landing area. And he's got the first part of the equation done nicely. It's the left center of the fairway.
Isn't this a swing that Tiger Woods sort of coveted, and that's why he decided to make the change in teachers?
I think it was a combination. Johnny, and talking to Sean Foley, it was Tiger admiring both Hunter Mahan and Justin Rose and how they struck the ball. And of course, it's Rose and Mahan that are both right up there right now.
Back here at the tee on 15 now. These wooden posts are normally about 3 feet tall left of the 15th fairway, right next to Golf House Road there. And look how close it is to the fairway. The inside edge of those wooden posts is out of bounds. So if you think the fairway is close to the road, it's even closer to that out of bounds there. So Roger, Hunter Mahan with the honor.
And less than driver, which I like and have said throughout the week. I really have not understood the play challenge the bunkers on the right. Any mistake left then brings that OB in immediately.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me to even challenge that out of bounds on the left.
See if you can make a good release, Peter, and not leave that thing open like he did the second shot on the last hole.
Good right.
Yeah, this is right. He wants it to go right in the fairway bunker.
Same swing, Peter.
Yeah, I've seen some balls over there. Players able to get up to the green. It all depends on that lie. Well, Mickelson hit a beautiful drive yesterday. He played a draw down the middle. He's made 3 pars on 15. Can he make a 4th?
This is aggressive, isn't it?
This is his strong 2-wood, John, 3-wood, whatever you call it.
Go on, baby. Go. Go.
Almost a dead straight shot challenging the middle bunker.
Saw it bounce.
How good was that? bold.
It's out there too. We can spin a shot in there.
Let's take another look at that with the Pro Tracer, as Roger said, challenging that middle bunker.
Makes it a birdie hole now.
Yep, he's got a birdie. That's great position there, even with that very difficult hole location tight against that right side bunker. But Phil Mickelson, after that great putt back at 14, he's just one back of our leader, Justin Rose. And boy, this young man, he's ready to win his first major championship.
Justin Rose with his second at 16, 171 yards. The hill, hole location middle left. Hard to get it on that little shelf, and if it comes up short like that, it will funnel all the way back down into a low area.
That was close to a terrific shot.
It was within a few feet, Johnny. Within a few feet now. Not an easy two-putt, steeply uphill. 17.
This was just earlier. Jason Day came up short, putting his way up a couple of levels here.
So slow. When you get the right distance, it'll go sideways at the end. And it looks pretty good if it can't go a little more.
Day will have that for par to remain 2 back.
It's really a 4-man race with Day at 2 and Mann at 1 and Mickelson at 1 over and Rose at even. So it's those 4 guys. One of those guys is going to win a major.
The U.S. Open Championship is being brought to you by Lexus and their pursuit of perfection. By MasterCard, gets you inside the game. By DirecTV, if you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Titleist, the #1 ball at the U.S. Open. And of those 4, everyone majorless except Mickelson. This is Day for par.
He seems to have the right stuff in these big championships, so that's a good sign for him, good for his confidence.
And now he's got 18, a tough par 4. If he can get a +2 up there on the board,
he's got a shot.
He's got an excellent chance. Back at 15.
Roger, it doesn't look like he's enjoying this lie.
That's not very good. You know, from what I can see here, he's got 143 to the hole. I don't think he can aim anywhere near over that bunker. He has to look at the front left and hope he can get it there.
While he looks this over, let's go up to 16.
And where Justin Rose has this lengthy putt for a birdie out of this low area and steeply uphill. To leave this short. Ooh, he gave it a good wrap. A good wrap. Whoa. Whoa.
Man. Got a little turn at the end, too.
Back to 15.
Looks like he's going to be aiming left, as Roger said, trying to increase that angle, put it on the left side of the green.
Just couldn't get enough club on it.
And he's got even a tougher angle on his 3rd. So now Mickelson with that very aggressive tee shot, Roger. This is now a birdie hole.
Oh, yeah. Only 121. Just a wedge up the hill.
Get the hole!
Well, this is left of the hole.
It's got to stop. That's going to go all the way to the front of the green.
What happened there? That was terrible. I quit on it.
You could hear him say he quit on it. That's why he left it left of the hole.
To 18.
And here's the huge tee shot for Jason Day. 511 yards.
Super tough draw. He's bogeyed this hole every day.
Toughest hole of the week.
This one looks pretty good. It needs a good bounce. It's up the left side.
He's caught the left rough, Mark.
And that rough has been mowed, but it is tough grass.
Back at 16.
Let's watch Justin Rose's reaction to that putt racing by the hole. He couldn't believe that he hit it that much too hard.
Have you been watching this putt
I
at all?
have, Johnny, and it actually goes back to the left, back toward the middle of the green, and most players have not read enough break.
I hope you watched the end of that putt because it moved right pretty good.
Kind of like that.
It was a good putt, but he misread it.
Yep. It's a three-way tie now at the top.
Yeah. That second shot was awful good.
It was within a few feet, Johnny, of being a realistic birdie opportunity. His fourth three-putt of the week, and it came at a very inopportune time. Back at 15.
Well, this is turning out to be survival of the fittest here. Hunter now with his third, and Roger, I don't know how he can get this close.
I don't either. It's not a particularly good lie. And, well, can you get it far enough to the back of the green to get the ball to come back toward the hole?
Well, you could earlier in the day, but with this rain that we just had, I don't think it's going to come all the way back.
Well, he came up and gave it a long look. I don't know if that's what he's thinking, but try to land it short of the hole and stop it. I just don't see much chance there.
You can see this big bunker here that he's going to be playing over. That's some 6 feet deep. You can see the back part of the green is what we were discussing.
Right by the hole. They just need to go too high to get enough on it to come all the way back to the hole.
Yep, I agree.
I think the lie sitting good enough. You got that little moisture in it.
Yeah.
I think it's a better play. I think you got to get it too high to come out and come all the way back. All right? Knock it in, bud. Right here.
There's a positive thought to leave you with, Peter.
I like that.
Knock it in right here.
Yeah, that earlier in the day, that ball would have come back down. That rain just softened the green just enough. So now Phil, he's got a very adventurous attempt at birdie. I guess he's putting for birdie. You call it a birdie putt, but I think he's just trying to get it close.
I don't think he has a putt at the hole. I think the slope from the angle he's putting that comes into the green is sharp enough it's going to just throw it way to his left.
He was talking with Bones about putting it up on the bank and having it come back down, but he figured that he couldn't do that.
And Justin Rose with 2 bogeys in the last 3 holes, trying to keep it together on this tough finish at 17 and 18.
Got a 5-iron in his hand, 229 to that back right hole location, trying to land it right in the 220 area and let it release back to the hole.
It's a big 5-iron.
Stand still, please, folks. Someone with some Velcro.
Well, there may not be any gallery back here, but there's a whole heck of a lot of media, and some of them are moving around a little bit.
Getting down to these final few holes, U.S. Open champion is going to come out of one of these final 4 groups.
Well, Mickelson and his caddy Jim Mackay have been giving this the thorough scrubbing that it deserves. And look at this. He's on the green and he's taken one of his 5 sand wedges, Roger.
You know, I really think this is the right choice. It's an extremely difficult play, certainly at this point in the competition, but I really believe it's his only chance to get it close.
And this is why he can't putt it. Bones was pointing just about where his pant leg is, or his short leg is. He just can't roll the ball at the the flag, so he's going to try to loft it over the edge of that bunker. And he caught it thin. Just not going to come back enough.
Thought he could pull that off. Thought he could pull that one off.
So now there's nobody better at hitting shots like this than Phil Mickelson, and you can see that he just tries to nip that ball off the surface of the green, but caught it too thin. And it's just boiling down to who makes the fewest mistakes on these last 5 holes, John.
Yeah, Peter, I mean, you could have a 2-shot lead with 2 holes to go and lose by 2. I mean, you can have huge turns on the leaderboard.
Takes a little work to get these wicker baskets out of the cup, doesn't it?
Yeah, those things are heavy.
Yeah, they weigh about 8 or 9 pounds. The flag sticks made out of steel.
And they're awkward, but they're cool looking. Coolest flag sticks I've ever played with or seen.
All right, the 19-year-old amateur from Cal, Michael Kim, finishing up Collegiate Player of the Year. Born in South Korea, family moved to the U.S. when he was 7. Probably, you would think, a shoe-in for the U.S. Walker Cup team this September. A Walker Cup stage here at one of the championships that have come here to Marion, and the U.S. Open Low-Am of 2013 at +10. Final round 76 for Kim.
Yeah, Michael's got a great future. Just 19.
Back at 15.
Mahan now for his par. Just it's going to work a little to the right, but it is very quick, even as soft as the green is now, Raj.
Agreed. And as it loses speed, it can wiggle a little bit more than just a little, can it?
Yeah.
Never high enough.
Well, that's quick.
Yeah.
Well, this hole's winning on this group.
To 18.
Keep your head down and keep on to the 18th. Only hole without a birdie the last 2 rounds, 18.
This is actually one of the better lies I have seen in the rough. He's got 198 to the hole. A little bit on the downhill lie, but the grass growing toward the hole.
He's bogeyed this hole every day.
This needs to hold its line. It's going left.
You were right, Mark. You got plenty of club. In fact, that would have been over the green. 22% of the players are hitting this green in regulation today. This is a brutal hole. This is number 5.
Back at 15.
Can Phil make another great save? No. So both Mickelson and Mahan have short putts for bogeys, and he knows where he stands. Look at him taking a look there at the leaderboard. He knows it's coming down to 4 guys.
Like Dan said, Jason Day, if he could make that up and in on the last hole and get in with a 2 over, who knows? Who knows?
+3 is what, you know, might be good enough at this point as well. He just, such a brutal finish.
This is very makeable, but it is one of those little lies that is sort of sticky. You could hit this heavy. This would have been a good one to putt with that 3-wood or 5-wood.
Very good break though, Johnny. It is uphill and he can be aggressive, and if there's any time you just want to have a little bit of margin for error, it's on the 17th and 18th here at Marion.
Not much break, pretty easy.
Okay, he's going to be at +1 going to the last. That's the best position of anybody on the golf course right now.
Yeah, that was a fine tee shot. No.
And while Justin was chipping, this was at 15.
Man.
So 15 living up to its reputation. Take a look at this. It's just a dead push here. The U.S. Open, John, it just takes you out of your comfort zone, doesn't it?
Yeah, the guys get nervous. They leave the toe of the club on the irons, the drives, and the putter behind, and their pushes.
So Mickelson tapped in for his bogey. He drops to +2. Day is in the bunker alongside the green at 18 at +2. And Justin Rose is getting ready to play the 18th. And here is the bunker shot for Day. Mark?
He certainly would thinking about trying to hold this one.
He's very good out of the bunkers. It seems all Australians are.
Nips that one beautifully. And he could very well get in at +2. Jason Day was in big-time contention at the Masters just a couple of months ago. He bogeyed the 16th and the 17th on that final round to finish 2 shots out of the Scott Cabrera playoff. And we'll have that for an even final round of 70, back to 16.
Mickelson staying aggressive here as he did yesterday. One of his 2 woods.
Well, this is the forward. He has started it well to the right, trying to cut it back.
That's the fairway. Mahan also staying aggressive with a wood. A lot of guys have hit irons off this tee. Mahan played 2 beautiful shots here yesterday and actually made a birdie. Gotta draw on those kind of memories.
Oh, baby! Oh, Hunter. Oh, baby.
Let's hit the right side. Good position. To the 18th tee we go.
And Luke Donald has just driven. And Justin Rose is next. Donald at +6. Began the day 2 off the lead, but went out 42 and faded from contention. But here is Justin Rose. It has been 68 majors since an Englishman last won one. It was Nick Faldo at the '96 Masters. There's been so many good English players: Luke Donald, Poulter, Westwood, Paul Casey, and now Rose has a chance.
The most important tee shot of his life.
And he just has to block out the shot that he just saw and focus on his swing keys right now. This is down the right side. Don't know if it's going to catch the fairway. It needs to work its way back a little bit.
It is fine. And how about that? At first thought that might have been the Hogan plaque, but it's not. And now, talk about the par putt of his life, which it could turn out to be. Jason Day to get in at +2.
That putt could have had a little chance for a playoff, and now I would say no chance.
+3 the lead down the clubhouse. Who knows? That might be the difference. +1 round of 71 for Jason Day. He's trying to follow up David Graham, who won the last U.S. Open stage here 32 years ago, also from Australia. +3 the last 8 holes after being tied after the 10th. Remember, he had that magical make at the 11th for bogey. And Billy Horschel is in with the final round, 74 +5 for the championship. Back at 16.
And Raj, have you had a chance to take a look at Mickelson's lie?
Yes, I have. It's sitting up way up. Really, it's a tremendous lie. So pretty good break.
Mahan will play first, and playing from the right center of the fairway, much better angle to try to get this ball near the hole location on the left.
It's very right to left. It should be a touch of help. It's a perfect good 7-iron. No doubt about it. But put the same swing on as you made the 8-iron yesterday, okay? Absolutely money.
Sounds like they have decided on a 7-iron, and John Wood referencing the Beautiful approach he hit in here yesterday. Said, remember, just like the 8-iron yesterday, when he hit it about 4 feet from the hole.
Just release that club at the bottom, Gary.
Come on. Keep turning.
He likes it. Wants it to turn a little. And that should stay. That's on the proper level.
Yep. Do you?
Absolutely.
Why's that?
The pin's just up top, and you got birding wind, and you're playing out of the rough.
Yeah, this is going to get through. It's going to be close, but I think it's going to get through.
Right to left wind.
All right, whatever club it is, Mickelson has decided it's going to get there. Not sure Bones is.
Actually, this is a little much. It feels
well,
like right now.
Actually, as you can feel, so you can see the flags over there on 17 green.
Okay.
Right to left wind.
The tree's not in the way at all, is it? Just barely off the line.
Just barely, but I think he'd go up and across it, actually.
It's good. It's good. Get it to stop that.
Well, an excruciating wait for Justin Rose. His playing competitor Luke Donald hit it way right, so that is what the delay is all about here. All the cameras posing behind Justin Rose on a hole where 1950 Ben Hogan was captured in the most famous golf shot of ever, and just a little ways away from that plaque. He's about 8 yards behind it, 8 yards over, so not too far away from that famous 1-iron plaque that Ben Hogan put down there when he approached the green here at 18 to get into a playoff. And there is the pose by Ben Hogan, captured perfectly by Hy Peskin back in 1950. And after 39 years without a European champion of the U.S. Open, who knows? We could be on our way to having 3 in the last 4 years. But the wait will continue for Justin Rose over there at 18 as we go back to 16.
Mahan has a putt for a birdie.
Gotta believe. Must make.
Easy to read. Moves a little right in the middle of it. Hard to see. Mahan will elect to go ahead and finish out. With par, but +3.
Yeah.
Back up at 18.
The wait is just about over for Justin Rose.
He's got the exact same yardage that he had on 17, 229 to the hole. I'm sure he'd like to hit the exact same kind of shot.
Rose at +1.
Got the ball above his feet.
Mickelson behind him.
Very little wind, a little bit right to left.
With a makeable birdie putt at 16.
Starting at the center and drawing. If he's got the distance, it's a good shot.
Is it ever a good shot?
That was drilled. That's a good leave right there. That's a very good leave. Uphill with a putt, maybe a chip. Very fine shot. That was pure.
And while the ball was in the air, this was Mickelson at 16.
Birdie putt that moves ever so slightly to the right. Just off the hole. Live for the par. Opportunity missed. Nicholson stays one back.
So Justin Rose making his way up where all those great champions of yesteryear made the walk.
I'll tell you, those 2 irons you just hit at 17 and 18 were pure. I mean, you can't appreciate how tough those 2 shots are until you try to play them yourself. And he's going to be really happy with himself to be able to perform under the heaviest pressure there is in golf.
Justin Rose turned pro. He missed 28 of the first 33 cuts on the European Tour, including a streak of 21 in a row. That was after he flashed onto the scene as an amateur in that British Open back in 1998. Overnight sensation he became. His father, Ken, got him started in the game. He put a club in his hands when he was about a year old. His dad moved his family from South Africa, where Rose was born, in order to give the family better opportunities at the time. And Ken, his father, was his only coach growing up as he became a junior star. When you watched Justin win his very first European title back in 2002 before he passed away from leukemia later that year. As it's Father's Day here in the United States, here's Justin Rose, where he credits his game and his passion and his love for golf. It all starts and ends with his late father, Ken.
I think it's got to be a pretty good one, don't you?
Back at 17. And Nicholson at +2.
Just think for 1 second. Wind's starting to pick up here. Let's just see.
Put your phone away, sir. Marshall in the event.
Okay. Let's just see if it freshens here.
He birdied this hole yesterday.
I actually think this wind. Yeah.
Said he hit one of the best shots of his career right here yesterday.
Let's see if he's got another one. There's a bit of a funnel effect if you can hit a good one.
And with Rose in good shape at 18, it would appear that Mickelson's going to have to pick up a birdie either here or at 18, which is unlikely, especially at the last.
He just missed the ridge by about 3 feet. It would have run, moved right down close to the hole.
Shot. Really good shot.
But it's a very fine shot. But it's sort of like Justin Rose didn't do a good break on 16. He's doing just the opposite.
Committed to your line here, Rach, okay?
That's what he wanted. I didn't do an old ball mark.
Are we moving closer to a 6th runner-up finish in this U.S. Open?
I'll tell you, you'd like to hit that putt on 16 again.
This guy will have a lot to do with that. He's got a fairway medal from the back.
This is a very, very smart play here. I think to be able to hit the ball flush and just get it up there within 2 feet. That second shot he hit was almost impossible to get it close. That's about as close as you can get it almost, unless you hit a 1 out of 100, because the green goes away from the players.
I agree, Johnny. Anything to take the nerves out at this point, and he's got the exact same lies, just a little bit more uphill. Just has to be careful not to get too much loft on it.
Second and the third were fantastic.
5 birdies, 5 bogeys, 8 pars for Justin Rose. Now look to the heavens. And you just might speculate that he could be thinking about his dad, Ken.
Well, that was a pretty little shot with that 3-wood from off the green that could have gone in.
Deep breath, eyes closed. This was left in the progression for Justin Rose, a major championship.
Fighting back tears right now.
He is. What a gut-wrenching finish. He is hoping that it's good enough. In his 37th major start, Justin Rose having his good friend, fellow Englishman McDonald, who will have to wait for his first major another turn. 75 for Donald, who is in his 40th major. And Justin Rose, one of the most likable golfers in the world, just might have put a U.S. Open title away with this definitely a shot with a fairway ball from the back. It's going to force Mickelson to birdie one of the last two.
Well, that's the kind of stuff champions are made of. Really played those 5 holes that last 5 that were so tough. Except for the 3-putt at 16, played them flawlessly.
Justin going into the clubhouse with his wife Kate. Reminds us a little bit about Webb Simpson last year, going to the clubhouse and waiting with his wife Dowd. Mahan needs a birdie finish to tie the +1 number that Rose is in at.
That double bogey made it 15 was pretty killer. Where are you, Roger?
I'm in San and it's a speedy one down this slope.
Can you think of any 2 holes that would be tougher to play 1 under or 2 under to force a playoff?
Well, not really. Certainly not when he already has this putt. If it had just gone another yard or so, maybe 2, and then he'd really have something to look at for birdie here, but a little less likely coming over this ridge.
So for number 10 for Phil Mickelson, really everything was a bit of a lip out, wasn't it?
Yeah, he hit a lot of good-looking putts, but it just wasn't fortunate enough to make a lot of them. They just mostly spun out or just grazed the edge.
But you never know with Phil.
Yeah, you never know, especially with him.
Never count him out.
He asked me coming down in the quarry what Justin was in with, and I told him he's in at +1, so he knows exactly what he needs to do.
This is really hard to get the right speed, Roger.
Yeah, it comes downhill and about halfway there crosses a ridge, and this is speedy. You can see how far back in his stance he looks like he's going to try to pick the club up straight up in the air and drop it down on the ball. Kind of an awkward spot here.
It's going to come back. It gets over the ridge barely.
And it's just about officially out of it. So it has come down to the final 2. Justin Rose in. Mickelson needs a red number here, either here or at 18 to tie the +1.
I was here this morning, and there were people in the stands then, and they've been waiting all day long for this last group, last bit of excitement.
Take a look at it. Pinpoint animation. 40-footer up the hill and then coming back down to the cup.
Definitely not an easy putt. It's a Phil kind of putt, though.
Mickelson has had the lead with 3 or less holes to play 4 times in the U.S. Open. He trails here by 1. They have all led to runner-up finishes. So he is going to need a birdie 3 at the 18th.
And
has not been a birdie 3 in the last 2 rounds. He did birdie it late in the round on Friday. He finished up his second round, so it's doable. Justin Rose in there signing the card that he hopes will make him a major champion just a few moments from now.
He's very pleased with himself, how he held up.
Now Mahan for par.
Tough finish, isn't he? Real tough finish.
It's so hard, John, when you've been in the mix all day long and then all of a sudden you find yourself in a spot where you really just can't win, and hard to keep it together at that point.
You know, when he made that great up and in at 14, I was thinking, you know, it went too far, but it came back down the hill and makes the nice putt. I was thinking, well, maybe it's his time. But the double bogey on the 15th derailed him.
Not a single birdie all day for Hunter with 1 hole left. A little reminiscent of Jim Furyk last year at Olympic, when Furyk was still right there even though he didn't make a birdie.
Makes his putt for a 4-over for the day and 4-over for the championship,
which is solo 4th. Day is in at +3. Hunter just falling to +4. So this to go to the 18th hole, needing a birdie. In the last 2 rounds at 18, there have been a total of 11 all week at 18. And that's what Phil Mickelson needs to avoid another close call, but no victory at the U.S. Open. And the last champion to birdie the 72nd hole in the U.S. Open to force a playoff was Tiger back at Torrey Pines. Remember that in the Rocco Mediate playoff the next day. It's happened a total of 7 times over the years.
Torrey has a par 5 finish, which is not very unusual for a U.S. Open, so it's much easier. This really is a par 5. We want to know the truth.
Barely made it into the fairway yesterday.
Yeah, there's more wind,
and the hole was back on the team ground all the way back at 5:30. It's 5:11 today. First things first, get it in the fairway, Roger.
Absolutely, and I got to believe this is his longest wood today, that Super 3 wood. Oh, this is going left. This is going to miss quite a bit left.
Sitting up.
Wow, he got a break there. That's like the lie he had at 16 that sat up for some reason. So it's still a chance.
Coming up to the 18th green, where the second to last group of Stricker and Schwartzel got off to a rough start. Schwartzel did birdie the first hole to get it to 1 under, but it's been rough going for him and Steve Stricker, who again made a triple bogey at the par 5 second. And was out in 41 +5, but has kept it together impressively since then, as he was trying to become the oldest U.S. Open champion ever at the age of 46 and finally break his major drought in 59 majors. So this for par to get in at +6. Made a nice par saver yesterday in the 3rd round, does so again today. But that major win will continue for Steve Stricker. One group left to decide the U.S. Open. Mickelson, sitting with a decent lie in the left rough, needs a birdie to tie Justin Rose, who's hoping that his major drought is finally over. Inside the clubhouse, this was Justin Rose watching himself on the monitor as we went to the commercial. He looked to the heavens, he and his wife Kate, and he was overcome with emotion. On the cusp of winning the United States Open. One last player to dodge, and that is Mickelson, who needs a birdie 3. Roger, you're out there, and the lie doesn't look too bad, or what's it look like to you?
The lie is not bad. Maybe just a little greasy, but he's going to have to aim this ball at the right bunker, greenside bunker, maybe at the right part of that greenside bunker, and hit a pretty good sized cut, Johnny. So tough shot.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to see this hole location, folks. The green goes up to like a peak, and then it just runs away, and the hole is on the downslope where you almost can't get it close. I mean, it's unless it just happened to stop at the top of the peak and then just trickle over. It's that's why Justin Rose's shot, probably to you viewers, didn't look like it was that great, but it was terrific.
What is it just up top?
He's at the point now he needs kind of a miracle, really.
Yeah, he does, because he's going to have to do a little bit of chasing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it can land on the front of the green and chase up to the top, and then it's almost got to pause and then go over to get that birdie chance. Unless he makes one of his fill chip-ins or sand shots in the hole, which is not out of the question either.
Excuse me, I misspoke earlier. He's got 224 to the hole.
Short.
Gonna have to hold that.
You had the right idea.
I had a shot. I just
Now Mahan, Raj.
And he has 217 left.
Mahan was at +1 through 14. Tied for the lead. A double at 15. Bogey at 17 has dropped him to +4. Solo 4th at the moment.
Even if he holds it out, it's not good enough.
This is flamed right. Got to go to carry that bunker. No, it's in that right front bunker.
Need quite a few of those coming in, Roger. It's something he's going to have to work on under pressure.
Is Mickelson about to feel another crushing blow of a runner-up in a U.S. Open? It just seemed to be in the cards this week. Flew back to the West Coast to be at his daughter's 8th grade graduation. Red-eyed back just before the first round. Had the sensational round of 67, which matched his lowest opening round in an Open, and then came into this final round as the only player under par, 1 under, and then when it looked like it might be slipping away, he holed out for an eagle at the 10th to seize the lead at even. Is it just going to be too little too late again? Already has the record of 5 second-place finishes in this championship. It began back in 1999 when Payne Stewart made the par putt at the 72nd hole. The latest in 2009 at Bethpage, where he came up short again.
And he's going to dig as deep as he can get to make this miraculous hole out.
His father Phil Sr. is here. Amy and the kids back on the West Coast watching. And watching Dad with one last strike here to try to pull off a magical finish at Marion. The crowd is backed in there behind him to see if he can pull it off.
Well, I'm sure he's going to probably take that wedge that he stuck in the bag, especially for Marion, the 64-degreer, and land it actually on the downslope with one hop bite trickle in. That's what he's visualizing, I would think. But maybe not. Maybe he's going to try to hit it into the bank, but the other one's easier to make.
Listen to the crowd cheer Phil on his birthday on Father's Day one last time. They haven't given up hope.
Well, he had a million chances today, though, if he doesn't win. He really did.
Familiar refrain at the U.S. Open for Mickelson, huh?
He made 2 double bogeys today and still has an outside shot to get in the playoff. 35 putts. Putter let him down. Well, I'm not counting him out yet, though. I'd say the odds are 1 in 100, but.
Mahan from the bunker, Roger.
Yeah, inside of Phil, but obviously that's going to be the shot of decision. So Hunter going first. A decent lie in this bunker, but once he gets past that break in the green, Johnny, as you say, it starts to run away.
Those final 4 players who had a chance late in this final round are lined up on the leaderboard. 1, 2, 3, 4 over. Man, the +4 man. He had a good chance at staying there. Beautiful shot.
You can see how fast it is. That ball actually came to a stop. And he decided to roll again.
Justin Rose is soaking up all the history here at Marion. And it looks like he's about to be a part of it. Unless Mickelson and Marion have some kind of mystique here of their own. One last shot to dodge for Justin Rose. And Mickelson is going to give it every ounce.
What do you think, Roger? Is it the spinner?
I would think he's got to get the low one with some check on it, yeah. And then let it release past that break. That's my thought anyway.
Wouldn't surprise me if he did that shot or the higher one. I think he's practicing the lower one, as you're calling. Back in the stance. He's going with the spinner. Driving spinner.
Walking it up. Justin Rose is a U.S. Open champion at Marion. His wife Kate, there's a little bit of a delay in there, so it came a little later, the news for Justin.
All that hard work and gorgeous swing, technique paid off. That's a great feeling. I tell you, I went through that exact same thing at Oakmont. Had to wait and watch. It's a great feeling when that last chip or putt doesn't go in.
Olin Dutra in 34, Ben Hogan 1950, Lee Trevino 1971, David Graham 81, Justin Rose 32 years later, when this golf course looked like it would never host another championship of this magnitude, has its latest champion in Justin Rose.
And nobody matched par.
Mickelson 4 par. Now to seal another runner-up finish in a U.S. Open. U.S. Opens.
Well, he's a gracious man of defeat, I'll tell you that. He knows he tried every shot the best he could. Just those 2 double bogeys did it.
How many times have we seen that look on Phil's face at a U.S. Open? Just amazing to fathom that it's 6 times. Mahan for par. Another lost stroke down the finish. Bogey for Mahan. Tied for 4th, his career best finish in a major. As he got a taste of it big time the first time late in the game. 43 years old today. Phil Mickelson's U.S. Open will have to wait. Justin Rose
Love you, Leo. Love you, love you.
is the man at Merion. In the 5th U.S. Open staged here. Final round 70. 2-shot win over Mickelson and Day. Mahan, Horschel, Duffner, and Else. 4 back at +5. Tough start for Stricker. Kept it together though, but on his way to a final round 76. U.S. Open tough is Justin Rose. Survives the mania at Merion to win the title. Back with much more in a moment.
I've been dreaming of this moment since I was 10 years old.
Jeff Ogilvy survives wing foot.
Tom Kite at last has won his first major championship, the U.S. Open.
An unreal performance from Rory McIlroy.
United States Open champion Lee Janzen.
The most sensational rally in Open golf history.
Webb Simpson is the 2012 United States Open champion.
A 3-shot victory for Lee Trevino.
What a proud moment for David Graham.
First Australian to win the Open.
There it is, the United States Open champion. And there goes the ball.
I guess patience and hard work, I guess it pays off.
The older you get, the more thrilling it gets because the harder it gets.
That is the 3rd Open championship.
And Justin Rose just a couple of moments from getting his arms around that trophy as well. The easy tap in, the lift to the sky. And Justin Rose has won the U.S. Open championship at Merion. Only player in the final 10 pairings to avoid an over-par score today. You bet he earned it. And Phil Mickelson had his opportunities today, Johnny, but Justin Rose had some pressure shots that he delivered and executed down the stretch, which is the kind of stuff that U.S. Open champions are made of.
Yeah, he played very well. But Phil, I mean, those wedges on 13 and 15, you know, 13 goes over the green on the easiest hole in the golf course. Then 15 hits that big drive with the 2-wood off the tee, wedge to the green, makes bogey there. I mean, those 2 holes were really killer for him. And then, of course, the 2 double bogeys on hole number 3 and 5 and 36 putts. So, Phil, even though he hit 15 greens out of 18 holes, Phil had a million chances, and just unfortunately on his birthday, it didn't seem like his birthday golfing wise, did it? And then Rose, you got to hand it to him. He was 4 over par on his first 13 holes on Thursday. It looked like he was out of the championship. He battles back. He plays 3 under par golf after that. Just wonderful. 70 in the last round. He was clutch. Those 2 shots at 18. The terrific tee shot at 17. He was really good. He's going to take a lot of confidence from this, and with his golf swing, he could be unleashed. He could be tough to beat in the next 5 years.
And before he gets his hands on that trophy, we want to show you how Justin Rose got it done today. He began the day 2 back of Phil Mickelson's 1 under lead, and this got things rolling for birdie at the 6th. He was coming off 2 bogeys in the last 3 holes, and this this is the kind of up and down stretch of the golf course that Rose was able to survive. And then this birdie putt at 7.
Look at all the wiggles on this.
Didn't look like it was going to get in until the last second. So Rose goes out in 1 under 35, pars 10, bogeys 11, and then hits this second shot at the par 4 12.
That's a beautiful shot now for a top-end birdie.
That gets him back to even. And then at the little par 3 13th, where Mickelson had his problems, Rose for birdie.
Rolled this in confidently. Look at all the speed of this putt.
Gave him the lead by 1 as he went over to the tough holes. And then here at 18, plus 1, 1-shot lead.
Most important drive of his life. And you saw it far that right side right at the target. Just a wonderful tee shot. A lot of pressure there on him, and he delivered.
And so you got the first part done. This just as important. This was ripped up there.
Again, the right shoulder pointing right at the target, just fired it down the line, and that was a fantastic golf shot. Just impossible to stop it almost, but leaves himself that nice uphill little bump that he did with the 3-wood meadow. It's a good, smart play to putt it with this fairway wood.
Remember, he had with Luke Donald having his problems on that one. He had to wait for that second shot. That was a lot of time to sit around and think about. You know, Ben Hogan came to mind, and all the players who are so aware of the history here at Merion. You saw Justin Rose checking out some of the pictures on the walls inside the clubhouse, and he is about ready to come out as he comes out with Glenn Nagle, the president of the USGA, about to be recognized as a part of that Merion special class of champions here. The 18th USGA championship played here. There's Mike Davis, the executive director of the USGA. He set up the golf course as the USGA brought this championship back to this quaint little gem in this neighborhood in Ardmore, PA.
It's just what Rose needed, a major championship, because he's got the game. And look at him, he is so happy. Cannot get much happier than that. It's his 5th win on tour, first major.
And you get the sense by just his coming in, he is just one of the most well-liked gentlemen out here on tour.
It's nice that Jason Day to come out and congratulate him. If Jason could have parred that last hole and put the pressure on him a bit at +2, Rose's par might not have been quite so easy.
And shaking hands with all the guy, Buddy Marucci, big figure here with his championship, Walker Cup captain here. Tom O'Toole of the USGA, and just about ready to become reality.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Glenn Nager. I'm the president of the United States Golf Association. We hope you enjoyed the excitement experience of the 113th United States Open. With it, with a heritage that dates back to 1895, the United States Open is a unique championship. It remains a showcase for the greatest skills in the game, to test the finest players in the game, their shot-making skills, their physical endurance, their mental endurance. Some questioned whether or not Merion's famed and formidable East Course could still provide that test. Well, she's clearly spoken. She can, and she did. Justin Rose's victory this week is an extraordinary accomplishment. He richly deserves his place in the rich history of the United States Open and America's national championship. Justin becomes the 5th player to win the U.S. Open here at Merion, joining 1934 champion Olin Dutra, 1950 champion Ben Hogan, 1971 champion Lee Trevino, and 1981 champion David Graham. Justin, for your victory this week, I have the honor of presenting you with 2 distinguished awards. First is the Nicklaus Medal in recognition of your victory and the place that you take in history with 4-time United States Open champion Jack Nicklaus. And second, I have the honor of presenting you with the United States Open Trophy, the time-honored emblem of our national championship.
All right. Justin, congratulations. You were very emotional after holding out at 18, then when signing your scorecard with your wife, Kate, alongside you. To the extent that you're comfortable, what were those emotions about?
Well, you know, it wasn't lost on me that today is Father's Day, and before I get too emotional, you know, happy Father's Day to all of you guys out there, and, you know, I think, you know, a lot of us come from great men, and we have that responsibility to our children to show them what a great man can be, and that was my goal today, just to sort of carry myself in a way that I could be proud when I came off the golf course, and you know, for it just all to work out for me on such an emotional day. You know, I just couldn't help but look up to the heavens and think that my old dad Ken had something to do with it.
You burst on the scene as just a 17-year-old at the British in 1998. Great things were forecast for you, and eventually you put together an excellent career. But this was your 37th major start before the breakthrough. Had you begun to wonder if it would ever happen?
Well, yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I hadn't really given myself many great chances, and took a lot of sort of encouragement from Adam Scott, great friend of mine, wonderful golfer, and I kind of saw how he's gone about playing major championships, and he sent me a fantastic text message after the Masters when we were sort of going back and forth, and he said, you know, your time's coming soon, and he's a wise man.
Much has been made about the glorious history of Merion. Your tee shot at 18 as you closed in on the championship landed virtually on top of the Hogan plaque, the iconic one-iron shot. There's no one-iron in anybody's bag anymore. What did you hit, and did you notice how close you were to the plaque?
You know, I did. I mean, when I came over the hill and I saw my ball lying in the middle of the fairway, and just what a beautiful setting this is here at 18, and I thought, this is my moment. You know, I've seen that Ben Hogan photograph a million times, and suddenly it was me hitting from the middle of the fairway with pretty much a good iron shot and 2 putts to win the championship. So I just tried not to get too ahead of myself, and obviously it wasn't quite 2 putts, but I hit a beautiful 4-iron into the green, and I'm just so glad it all worked out.
This moment is yours. You've expressed yourself very well. Anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Philadelphia has been my town. Yeah.
You know how to work a crowd, don't you?
Oh, man. You know, I had such good support here all week, and there were a lot of people in the crowd who remembered me from Aronimink, 2010 AT&T that I won here, and I felt like I had a lot of goodwill in the crowd. And obviously, Phil Mickelson, rightly so, fan favorite. The way he carries himself, you know, I've got nothing but great sort of things to say about Phil. And being Father's Day, I think he needs a big shout out for how he handled himself as a father this week with his daughter's graduation and coming back to play the tournament and doing such a fantastic job.
Again, Justin, congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Dan, as you know, Justin Rose, one of the most popular players on tour, and now the U.S. Open champion.
Father's Day here in the U.S., Bob. The rose is the official flower of Father's Day. And Justin Rose got it done today. He spoke so highly of Phil Mickelson. We'll hear from the runner-up again, Phil, when we come back.